So the dimensions were completely incomparable to what I was actually going to be able to ride. And that was because they were fitter than me. Most of the time they were younger, but also they had better skill set, right? Better timing. So when you have all of those three things together, then you don't need to have, as much literage in the board.
Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Leighton. On today's episode, we speak to Sasha from Zero Ego Board Reviews.
Yeah, Sasha's on Instagram, can be found at Zero Ego Board Reviews, and he was a really nice bloke, and he had loads of information and knowledge.
Really knowledgeable surfer.
Yeah. He classes himself as an average surfer. We don't class him as an average surfer, do we?
No, he's maybe it should be like the wave setting. He's average plus.
Yeah, he's more than average plus. I've seen some of his Instagram posts. Yeah, go and check them out, and you'll know what we're talking about if you're not following him already. Yeah, really nice guy.
Yeah, loads of tips for everybody. He's very welcoming, isn't he? You can send him messages and he'll help you out. And he's said in the
really
podcast,
approachable.
Really approachable guy. Says in the podcast when he's out surfing, if he can see people doing something wrong, it'll help them. So that just is kind of testament to how nice the guy is.
Yeah. Bit of trouble with the audio on this one at the start, and throughout the internet connection dropped in and out a bit, so apologies for that.
Yes, thank you guys. Yeah, my name's Sasha and I'm a surfaholic, basically. I've got an Instagram channel called Zero Ego Board Reviews, and that's where I basically review different boards at wave pools, at the wave in Bristol for average level surfers. So it's something that average levels, I am an average level surfer, and it's for average level surfers to be able to relate to.
Yeah, and well, we've been following you for a while now. You say you're average, but you seem absolutely incredible. All the photos I've seen in the videos and all that, you seem like, it's just beautiful surfing. You're like an incredible surfer.
Well, that's really kind. It is. It's interesting, right? Because I think that I've improved about 30-40% in the last 4 years since wave pools have been around. That's the first thing to say. So since Surf Snowdonia opened, and I went there regularly, even though it's like 4.5 hours one way for me. And then Bristol opened, and that's 1.5 hours away from me. So that has made a massive difference. But I think that what I mean by average is in terms of people who know how to surf, I'm very average. So this is different than being an intermediate. I'm not an intermediate surfer. I would say that I'm more than an intermediate surfer. But in terms of a sort of an advanced surfer, I'm very, very, very average.
So how long have you been surfing for now?
I've been surfing a long time. I'm 46 and I started when I was 19, but I've never lived by the sea. That first 10 years, I probably surfed about, 20 times in the first 10 years. And then I got more serious and, began to love it even more and became sort of slightly besotted by it. And would go down regularly down to North Devon and North Cornwall, which is like a 3.5 to 4.5, depending where, one-way trip for me. So I've never had any friends that surf until sort of in the last sort of 3 or 4 years where I've got to know locals. But it's just sort of just because we meet at the same place because we know what the conditions are going to work. But I don't sort of generally have friends that I surf with, and no one that I know. I mean, I live in Bracknell, which is like near Reading. I mean, it's just got nothing to do with surfing at
There's
all.
a good, they used to have a good ramp there years ago. I don't know if it's still there, the Bracknell ramp.
No, they had that massive one at the sports centre. Yeah, that was like a death ramp. Yeah. That's right.
That's why it's not there anymore.
Yeah, is that where you've always lived near there then?
Yeah, that's right. I've always lived there. So it's not exactly the surfing epicenter of the universe.
I was going to see if you knew any of the skaters from around there then, if I know one the same sort of age as you.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, I did a little bit of skating. I probably do more skating now than I did then. I'm not the same sort of skating, but no, I mean, I came into all of it very late, really. I did a round the world trip when I was 18 after A levels with a mate, and we would just go to Thailand and places like that just to party, not to do anything else really. And then we heard about this guy said, "Oh, this island's really cool. You should go there." So we just decided to go there, and it happened to be Sumatra, happened to be Nias, and all the surfers were really annoyed because it was high season and the waves were tiny. They were like sort of waist high to head high, and so for us, for literally a month, it was like a wave pool. You know, it was the same.
Oh, amazing!
It was absolutely amazing for us. And so I think I learned more there in that was that's when I first learned to surf. And I was I went when I was 18. I turned 19 when I was there. So I think I was 19 at Nias, and I learned more in that month than I did for the next 10 years, without question.
So did you have any lessons there, or you just kind of worked out yourself and taught yourself?
No, do you know what? I'm 46. People didn't used to have lessons, did they?
No,
we just used to get on with it. And I'm not into it. I think it's such a waste of time. Now you can go on, even if you don't have lessons, you can go on YouTube and Google and work out, what you're doing wrong or how you could improve. But no, we just took boards and we would take the wave on our belly or on our knees if it was too steep, and then we would get up, right?
Right.
I think, and so that whole time we never learned to drop in actually for that month, but we might have done once or twice, but not properly. But we learned to ride the wave, and that was the really fun thing. And then, spent years learning how to get up and paddle in and drop in and all of that, which took and duck dive, which we didn't really have to do it in the ass either. So yeah, that's how it went.
That's kind of the same as us, really. We just spent a long time
getting smashed in the face.
Yeah, and not really kind of like taking it too seriously and like not going down very much. And so yeah, it's kind of the similar kind of thing. Apart from we didn't go to Thailand and learn how to surf for a month, which is our kind of downfall, I suppose. Seeing you're in Reading, where's your nearest beach break then?
Yeah, so Bracknell, which is, I say Reading because it's the nearest, probably bigger town that people know about. But I don't know what the nearest is. It's probably
it's got to be the Wave now, isn't it?
Sorry,
it's got to be the Wave now.
Oh, well, there definitely is the Wave now, for sure. 100% is the Wave. Absolutely, that is my local.
Yeah.
But, oh my goodness, I'm like that guy from the North Shore. What's his name?
Rick. Yeah,
Rick. Just call me Rick.
Well, we were having this conversation the other day, right? So you're gonna get that thing now, surely, which is exactly like North Shore, where someone's going to come along, learn to surf at the Wave, absolutely rip at the Wave. Go out in the ocean and just be like, what is this? I've not got a clue.
Yeah, I think that could happen, and I do think that surfers in surf good spots in the coast, some are sort of quite skeptical about the artificial waves, although less so as soon as they have a go and they realise it's quite fun. But I think that some of them are worried that hordes of people are going to come down. But I agree with your point in that there's so much to understand and know in terms of the conditions, the tides, how to get out the back in certain breaks. That I don't think this is going to cause extra people in the ocean in a serious way. I think it might take people away because you're not going to bother on a fairly average day there if you've got a wave pool nearby. I think Bournemouth's probably my nearest sea place, but I don't really know that area very well. I have surfed there, and then North Devon is really my local area. It's anything between just below Widmouth to Somerset to you know, is I know all those spots very, very well.
I was going to say, careful what you say there.
Yeah.
It's difficult. We found that difficult as well. As you get into a conversation, you go to say something, and you're like, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's kind of our area as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
in that place.
Yeah,
is that your area?
Somerset area.
Devon,
And then we're Somerset down to North Devon is where we're closest to. It's I do want to say before we go too far, that blackboard you had the other day on your Instagram, that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, there's something about black surfboards, and I was talking to my partner about it tonight, and because she said, "Oh, you're going to ask him about the blackboard?" And I went, yes, of course I am. It's in the film Point Break, which we talk about a lot on this. When Bodie gives Johnny Utah that blackboard and they go for the night surf, I think that's where the love of blackboards come from. And when I saw that board, that whole scene just replayed in my head when I saw that board.
So if we can explain that board and the fin setup, because I've never seen anything like that in my life, the fin setup on that.
Well, you know, I've been really fortunate to be riding lots of different boards over the last few years with what I'm doing, and I think it's really sort of helped my surfing, and it's really sort of made it. I think it's made me a better surfer and made me appreciate different things on boards. But I just got to a point where I just wanted something completely different, and I had to look around to see, you know, who was making something completely different. And I found Tim Stafford, who's a shaper from Widmouth, and he was doing some like just crazy things. And I said, Tim, I just want something really mental, you know, just something. But also, I mean, I want it to work. So it's not about the aesthetic purely, although, you know, I think they look amazing. But I just want something completely mental. So he's made me this asymmetrical board. And actually, what's very interesting is if you look at an asymmetrical board, they're made for goofies or regulars. So some people think that they're made for just going on left-hand waves or right-hand waves. That's not what it is at all. It's to do with whether you're right foot forward or left foot forward. And it's all about how you put pressure on your toes differently to how you put pressure on your heels. So it's all about that. And what's really interesting, actually, is that if you look at most asymmetrical boards, you would think that my board, looking at it, is actually for a regular foot, but actually I'm goofy. So he's actually turned all the science on its head, and the way that he does the fin placement. So I've got 5 fins in that thing. You've got like this big twin fin on the side. You've got a bonza inbuilt. You've got a normal back fin, and then you've got 2 keel fins. And none of it makes, all of it is science, and none of it I can understand. But that thing just bloody works. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It just looks insane. The thing, like you look at it, and it's one of those ones when you. I don't know. I could only describe it to a car with like exhaust coming out of the bonnet, and you look at it and you go, "What the hell's that for?" And then you see it in action, and you're like, "Whoa, that's wild!"
It is a thing of beauty.
But that's why we wanted to get you on. The way you're describing, then, like even down to your toe placement, your foot placement. That's the thing we've talked about a lot. The board you select is the most important thing. Where a lot of people just they want to get on that small board and tear up the waves, and that's it. But board selection is so important, and the way you're describing that with the way just on the movements on your toes and your heels and stuff like that. That's for people out there. That's information that's crucial that they should really be listening to and taking in,
especially when you're looking to progress as well. Everything gets fine tuned, doesn't it? So like what you're doing with the Zero Ego is providing a really good service for people, because boards are expensive, aren't they? So you don't want to go and waste your money on something that you or don't know anything about. So what you're doing is great, isn't it? So where did it start? Where did the Zero Ego idea come from, and how did it begin?
Yeah, so I was sort of tired of seeing reviews by basically pro surfers that would like surf a board that even maybe that I could ride was literally 10, 15 litres less than my one, less than something that I could ride, right? So the dimensions were completely incomparable to what I was actually going to be able to ride. And that was because they were fitter than me. Most of the time they were younger, but also they had better skill set, right? Better timing. So when you have all of those three things together, then you don't need to have, as much literage in a board, etc., etc. So, even boards that I was interested in riding, they would ride, 5 sizes lower, and something that's 5 sizes shorter and smaller volume will surf completely differently to something 5 sizes up, especially if you're not double the weight, right? So I then started surfing at Surf Snowdonia and sort of started doing it just for fun, basically on YouTube, and doing some reviews of the boards that I had, and then also that you could borrow there, you could hire there. And just I found it really fun, and I felt like I was learning more than anyone else. So I very much am preaching to myself in every single review that I do. Yeah. So I'm talking to myself really, and just learning things about it. And I'm hoping that a lot of it translates to other people that are not pros. And you mentioned earlier on that that my surfing seems to be fairly good, but and it has improved massively, but I still very, very much remember going to the ocean, not catching waves. I still remember going to the ocean and riding waves without having a clue what to do on them. I wasn't born with this. This was, fairly recently. I would say, 10 years ago, that was me. I really and then I got a bit better. And then 5 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever the Snowdonia opened up, my progression went massive. I've been in big waves before that, because I used to go to Bali every year. My wife's from Indonesia, although she was brought up here. But so we used to go to Indonesia every year, and I would get into some fairly decent sized waves. I have no idea what I was doing though. Just basically think I was riding, but basically just going straight and standing up tall, and probably just being a little bit braver rather than any sort of skill set. And now I'm just really sort of finding the joy of being able to surf, and knowing different maneuvers and stuff. But then again, at the wave, you can do multiple turns, and in the ocean, I'm really happy if I can get one turn in or two. So it's very different.
So can you remember a point in your surfing that was the transition from that kind of beginner, like just going into intermediate, to when you actually started to get really good? Like, was there a point where it just clicked and you can remember that, or?
Yeah, I can actually. There's a couple of points I can remember. I can remember where something clicked and I realized that I love this so much that I'm going to be much more serious about this. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to go more often in the winter. This was before I was really going in the winter properly, all of those things. There was that thing. And that really that wasn't because I had a good surf. That was just something just clicked, and I just thought, I just really love this for my mental well-being. Even if I go out there and don't get out the back, I'm frustrated with that. When I come back in, I'm not frustrated that I've been in the sea. So I remember that period very well, and that's probably quite a while ago. That's probably sort of 15 years ago. But then in terms of sort of that intermediate surfer to slightly advanced, I was in the Canary Islands, not knowing what I was doing at all, and the waves were a little bit bigger. And I just thought to myself, look, I just have to go for it. And I was kind of fairly successful. I'm sure I surfed like rubbish, but I caught some waves and went along them. And I think that was the biggest thing. So psychologically was definitely the biggest thing, which is why I think that if you get some tips now, and I don't like just reviewing boards. I really like giving tips to tips that I've learned. I like sharing tips when I'm at the wave and I see people struggling. I enjoy that, because I hate sort of seeing people not catching waves because of something really simple. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely a good attitude to have. That's another thing I've noticed on your Instagram as well, where we've been watching. Like, your attitude towards it is, you can just tell you're just a proper nice guy. That it's just, you've just got that attitude of wanting to help people and just wanting everyone to get on and get better at it. it's really nice to see.
It's like spreading the love of surfing, isn't it? Which that's what we are really trying to do as well. So
that's what you're doing. Yeah, that's what you guys are doing, and that definitely comes across in your podcast. And I love them. So yeah, no, I think it's all fun. I think it is a little bit easier being a bit older. Not that I ever was a young surfer, because when I was young I was just didn't have a clue, so I was a young beginner for many years. But I think it's a bit easier, and we have a responsibility, especially if you've had a bit more experience in life in general, not to be a dick.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's also nice that being a bit older, and people listening to the podcast who might be a bit older as well, and you saying that you got into it a bit later, and so did we, that they might think, oh, actually, it's not too late, to actually give this a go, because you can surf, forever, can't you? Really, if you look after yourself, like you said, when you start to eat better, and you're really going to give this a go, there's no reason why you can't do this to the day you die.
Well, this is it. I mean, and look, tomorrow I'm going to the wave. Again. And I'm surfing the blackboard at 7 a.m. on an expert session, so I'm really looking forward to that. But the other reason I'm going is that I'm filming a guy called One Limb Surfer, a guy called Martin, and his Instagram is one as in the number one, limb as in limbs, One Limb Surfer. And he was in ex-forces, and he's got 2 legs and 1 arm missing. He's literally got 1 arm, and he's bloody surfing. So I mean, if that's not an excuse to get going, then then nothing is.
Well, we said about this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
And Leighton was saying to his partner, imagine that, how brave you'd have to be. Imagine tying your legs together and 1 arm behind your back, and then getting in the water to go surfing. Like, you just wouldn't do it.
It's just a level of courage I can't even comprehend.
It's just, we saw a picture the other day of him, and like, that's incredible. Like and
on his Instagram account as well, he's surfing some bloody big waves on some of those in some of those pictures as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, he's an amazing guy, and I don't know him very well. We've only met once, and we've been like talking on Instagram, and that's the nice thing actually about Instagram. You get to meet people like that. I met him in person, and then at the wave, and I had a little chat with him. Asked him whether I could just video his equipment, because I'm interested in all equipment, and he's got this prosthetic limb that's a paddle that he's designed, which is really cool, and then his board is obviously adaptive as well, to an extent, and so it's really nice to meet people that are just like up for surfing, and so I can't wait to film him on the waves tomorrow. Hopefully he's been on the Advanced Plus session, and he's planning on going onto the Expert session as well, so I'd love to see that. I think it's going to be brilliant.
So we know you've been to the wave a lot. We see your bank probably doesn't appreciate it very much. But
listen, be careful. My wife will probably listen to this. So. Can you edit this out?
That's There's a story that someone said. I said on the last podcast. They said, "Oh, he saw his mate there, and he's like, God, don't tell my wife I'm not exactly. She go mad." But obviously, your wife knows that you get a really good discount. Right, yes. Obviously, the more you go, the cheaper it becomes. It's probably about £1.
Well, I think they give me £1. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
But what do you find? Our last episode that went out? When was it? Yesterday? I don't know what day it is. Yeah, yesterday. That was the one of the wave. How do you find the wave, the actual wave itself, compared to the ocean? How do you find that? Surfing that wave?
I mean, so both the wave and actually Snowdonia as well. I was never as excited as when I go to the sea, I think, as I go to the ocean. So when I'm traveling down there, I'm very excited, but it's not the same thing as when I'm going to the ocean. Maybe because I don't exactly know what to expect from the ocean, although it's normally pretty much what I expect, because the forecasts are so good these days, and I understand them. But so that level of expectancy is not there. But when I'm surfing it, I don't actually even. I forget that I'm not in the ocean. I'm just surfing those waves, and I love it. So
Yeah, just enjoying yourself.
Yeah. I'll surf anything. I'd be happy to surf sort of novelty waves. I'm happy to surf literally, you know, I've been to like work conferences in Brighton where there's been literally half a foot wave and I've gone, you know, surfing in that or just swimming in it or trying to body surf in it. So I'll take absolutely anything. Yeah, I just love it all.
I think that's it. If you are, you know, that moment when you become a surfer because you'll start changing plans or thinking ahead of it. If you're going somewhere where there's a beach, if you're going with your family, your first thought is, I wonder if there's surf there. Yeah. Your second thought is,
who can I kick out the car to fit my board in?
Yeah. And then you know, you start thinking around this, and like you start having plans, and people going, oh, do you want to do this? Well, I'll leave it as late as possible because I want to.
It might be
exactly. No, that's exactly it. I just recently today I got a reply, but I deferred a jury service just recently, and it was for the purposes because of my business. I just couldn't go, and they gave me another date, and it was November next year, 2021. And I thought, brilliant. And then I thought, oh no, that's a season.
Oh no,
that's really. What if the trial's really long? So I'm panicking about something that is a year away.
Oh, that's a nightmare, isn't it? That's
just proof of a proper surfer.
So, what was your go-to board then? Before you had like this new Black Beauty, we're going to call it. Before you had Black Beauty, what was your go-to board then?
Well, my go-to board, that's a difficult thing to answer with what I do because literally I'm changing boards all the time.
Have you got one you go back to?
So I can answer this because I have thought about it a lot for my own purposes, but probably not in a very quick way. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I just wondered if there was that one board that you always went back to.
I've never surfed mid-length boards before. Now the blackboard is a mid-length board, and my flow stick is a mid-length board. Mid-lengths it's a terrible name actually because my mid-length is 6'6". You can have a 6'8" that is not a mid-length, that is actually a short board that's large. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very confusing. It's not a mini mal. So it's basically generally a board that is probably slightly more of a shape of a mini mal, but has a lot more performance. But it's a lot more glide and a lot more volume than a short board. So that's effectively what a mid-length board is. And I've never considered one before. I've never ridden long boards. It was always short boards from when I first started surfing. So I never really thought about mid-lengths. And Board Shop had created this brand called Form. Helen Stokes created this brand called Form. You can buy them from Board Shop. And they have created a number of different boards, all designed by Alan Stokes. And one of them is a Form flow stick. And I tried this board and I thought, I cannot believe I've never ridden anything like this. And still today, so mine's 6'6", it's 44 litres. It's a mid-length, it's a rounded nose, and it can cruise crappy small waves, but it can also handle big steep waves. It can do absolutely everything, and it actually makes me more stylish than I am. And if there was one board that I broke today, if I just ran one over, I would immediately buy it. Whether I had the money or not, I would buy that one again. I have the same dimensions personally for me as well. 6'6", 44 litres, that flow stick. So the other thing I noticed was that I realised how rarely we have shortboard conditions in the UK since I started riding that board. It's just, and you'll see good surfers in conditions that I before thought were shortboard conditions in the UK, in the ocean. And, you'll see good surfers and they'll get a wave with 1 or 2 or 3 really good turns in, but then nothing much for the rest of the session, right? So with this flow stick, you can, you're catching loads of waves all the time, but you can do anything on it. It's not a long board. So yeah, absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's difficult, as you say, with what you do. There's always going to be that you'll try something. Oh, I like this, and then you think about it, and it's that, as you say, that little board you always go back to. I mean, I ride a big 9.6 log. I absolutely love the thing, but I've got a 7.6 as well. But it's a torque board, and it's got loads of volume to it. I can't remember what the exact volume is on it, but I find the thing's really good. It's really, you can really, pop up well on it, move well on it. It moves, obviously after riding a big log, it moves it's like you're on a 50p or something like that. It like pivots like anything after one of those. But the thing, I find it so much more effort paddling out with that thing than I do with anything else. I don't use it as much as I should.
Someone, this is a slightly different topic, but someone is sending me they're called Boost. They're sending me an electronic fin.
Oh, yeah. I've seen these. So that Boost board are the long boards, aren't they?
So they are going to make them smaller, but at the moment they're kind of more for long boards. And
so when I was in LA last year, and everyone had Boost boards.
Did they really? Well,
yeah. So they're so they got the long boards on the like the skateboard long boards, and Boost boards. They make the long boards that go on they all go up and down the what is it, like cycle path down Venice Beach and everything. They go up and down there on Boost boards, and you just see them flying around everywhere, and they've got like a controller in their hand as well as they go in.
Sorry, no, I think that's another electronic skateboard called, but it's not the same company.
Right, yeah, because they're called. They
I think you're right, actually. Yeah. Sorry, but so that's a different company, electronic skateboards. But this, an electronic fin that you put on your surfboard. I don't know. A lot of people will hate that idea. But I think that if you maybe have if you're disabled, or if you're just older but you love surfing and you can't, I don't see why not. As long as you don't take people's waves, of course. I think you kept going out.
So it's got like a propeller on the fin, has it?
Yeah. So it's got a propeller on the fin, within the fin.
That's pretty awesome.
Mad.
Yeah, I think I saw something about this on. I know what you're talking about now. It might have been on the Magic Seaweed forum or something like that. I can't remember. It was on some forum, and there was some people getting quite nasty.
I think 90% of surfers will hate the idea.
Yeah,
I don't care what 90% of people think. I just want to try it. I'm interested.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's that. Not like a load of them would go in. Oh, if you can't paddle out the back, you shouldn't be able to go out there and stuff like that.
Purist in surfing will feel like that.
Yeah.
So they're sending you like more stuff. So I know what a lot of our listeners will want to know. Do you get to keep the boards?
So I have had boards before from different people and different situations. But what I've got now, what I'm doing now, and actually it's just started, so I literally just put up the first review today of the Hydra Short, Tomo Hydra Short. I've been a long-term customer from Board Shop, whatever the English is, boardshop.co.uk. So they're an online surf shop, but they're not like an online presence. They're actually real people that you call up and they have great advice. So I've been a customer of theirs forever. And basically, I'm now getting boards from them to review, and then I give those back. So I to be honest, it would be cool to keep them and maybe sell them, but I literally couldn't even keep all of the ones that I've got now. I've got too many I actually need for myself. So what I'm excited about is not actually keeping the boards, but just trying them. So I feel very, very lucky to be able to try these latest boards, latest shapes. So I've just got the Hydra, the Lost Hydra, which is this double diamond, small sort of board that's moving on from the puddle jumper. So I'll be testing that up tomorrow. I've just reviewed the Hydra Short, and there's a bunch of other boards that I'll be reviewing. So I don't keep those boards, but I have kept others.
That's just living the dream for a surfer, really, isn't it? You get all these lovely brand new boards coming through, and I bet it's quite difficult to send some back though, isn't it? There must be some that you get and you're like, oh god, maybe I should buy this one, and this is just so much fun.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly, absolutely right. And sometimes I sort of really worry. I really worry if I'm going to like a board too much. And
it's like the best sales tactic ever, to send people boards. Yeah, but
exactly, it's like a drug dealer, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, you can have this one.
Yeah,
for free.
exactly. So
get it on layaway, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And then you talk about another go-to board. So that's the mid-length. That's what I was saying, that I wouldn't live without that one. In terms of a more performance short board, that's really hard. So I've had quite a few that are pretty performance orientated and quite good. The Form Adapt ADPT is really good. I love the FRK, which is a Slater Designs board. And that turns, I can get that more vertical than any other board. It's actually quite hard to go vertical at the wave, just because of the way the wave is. It's very fast and it's quite steep. But in normal waves, you can get that really vertical. And I've never been able to get boards vertical before, so that's really weird to me. It's just really, really works. But it's quite skittish under my feet still. It's probably slightly more performance orientated than I am in terms of for my level. And then the Hydra Short that I've just tried is just like sort of the best of both worlds. It's just so easy to serve, but just really performance orientated as well. So yeah, I think all of those three in terms of a performance board are absolutely brilliant.
I saw the what you reviewed as well. Are they Hex pads to replace
Hex
wax?
Attraction? Yeah, it's a company RS Pro Water, and it's Hex Attraction Grip. Yeah.
How did you get on with those? Because my partner wants to buy those for her. She's got a lovely like aqua green talk board. I think it's like a 7. It might be a 7.6
something. I think.
No, it's not. I think it might be like a 7.2 or something.
It's probably not important at this moment.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. Sorry, we do this a lot. How did they work? Because they look really cool, and obviously it's on your blackboard, so it makes the thing stay looking.
It's on all my boards actually. On all my own boards.
Oh, really?
I put Hex Attraction because I first started using it because purely for looks, and we get these beautiful new boards just like you described, or your partner's board, and you don't want to just ruin it with wax, and so that was my first incentive. And then as I sort of used it more, I find now that the performance is better, because I find that you have just as much grip in turns, bare feet or booties, either way. But I find that it's less tacky when you lift your foot up, so it's easier to shuffle your feet around. So I prefer it. Not everyone gets on with it super well straight away. And the main thing is when you're lying on it, it doesn't feel as grippy. It's just weird. On a rash vest or a wetsuit, I don't notice it at all anymore. But I do remember how it felt, and people say this feels really weird, it doesn't feel grippy, and then but as soon as you're riding, it's fine. So you totally forget about that and you get used to it. And initially that was weird. I put a tiny line of wax on the rails where I put my thighs, because if you've got nothing there, then and you've got a new board that's gloss, for example, it's quite slippery, and I put a tiny line where I put my hands for duck diving. I don't replenish that line. That's like a line for maybe 3 months, and I don't replace it.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's like the only thing I can have any experience with something like that is just at the Wave on their hybrid boards. They've got like that, like the top that you don't need to wax. Is it that kind of texture?
No, it feels more like it feels like sandpaper, but not in a bad way. Do you know what I mean? Like a light sandpaper. So you can.
It's not abrasive.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I mean, I've never had any issues with any of my wetsuits with it, and also I've surfed it without a wetsuit as well, just like bare chested just a couple of times, and I've not had any problems with it. So yeah, I love the stuff, and I was just bemoaning the fact that I put wax on these two new boards, the Tomo Hydra Short and the Lost Hydra. And the Hydra looks absolutely fine. For some reason, the wax looked white on it. And on the Hydra Short, the same wax just looks a bit creamy and yellowy, and it just immediately looks like a used board.
Yeah, you get that with them, don't you? Sometimes that the one of the nicest things I like looking at recently when someone puts a decent wax pattern on their board, it just makes you go, oh, look at that, that looks nice. You know, it's something a bit different, isn't it? So you mentioned earlier as well about what, you know, eating better and everything like that. Do you exercise outside of surfing now to keep yourself fit for when you're surfing?
Yeah, so actually, thanks for reminding me of that point. You know, because I talk about that boost fin.
Yeah, we do that. We jump a lot.
Yeah, and obviously that was just a total sideline. But in terms of keeping fit, I've tried different things. But the thing that has totally changed my surfing now is I follow this guy called Hydromind on Instagram. And he's got these paddle bands which I've subscribed to the program and use, and he's very American, right? It's a very different thing. He's quite like, he's actually Canadian anyway. He's not American, but do you know what I mean? It's very much
positive energy. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, like, you know,
it's not everyone's cup of tea, and for me, it was very different style than I was used to, and it almost sounds a bit cowboy, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. It's the
English all bloody style works.
Yeah, the English style would be like, yeah, do it if you want. You know,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I know it's very American. But he's like, some of the stuff he shares. Anytime he says something, I see it, I send it to Leighton straight away. Like,
yeah, exactly. And so I do a number of different programs that he does. But to be honest, the one that I do 90% of the time is that he does this thing where basically says, if you're getting ready for a road trip, for a surf trip, then do this. And he says, you know, do 50 paddle strokes, do pull down once and hold your breath for 10 seconds, and then you've got 5 breaths, and then you do it again and you repeat it 3 times. I do that every single day. It takes literally 5 minutes, and I'm always paddle ready with that. I reckon I could do a lot more and get fitter, but if I do that, and I like to keep fit. I do other stuff, but I mean, in terms of surfing, if I do that, I'm good. I know I'm good to go.
It's that thing, isn't it? The daily exercise. We are going to do a podcast on it when we've constructed it, because it needs to be a really kind of well polished one. Yeah. But I do it a daily exercise for like forever. And if it's short enough that it only takes you 5 or 10 minutes, you've kind of got no excuse. So when you said like you could do more, yeah, you could do more, but it might put you off when you've been doing more for, say, a week, and then you might not do it at all. So it's like a really fine balance, isn't it? And that daily exercise is like body conditioning for the sea, and it does make such a huge difference. Just those 5 or 10 minutes every single day doing, like, it sounds like you're doing, you're just kind of replaying what you would do in the sea anyway, but just every day.
Yeah, exactly. And and you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. You know, especially for those people beginning on the exercise, on exercise. I do quite a lot of other exercise just because I enjoy it, and I enjoy sort of keeping fit, and finding that as I'm getting older, 46, you kind of need to as well. Otherwise, you lose it more. But in terms of for surfing, I just keep that going. And yeah, that's good to go. I've got into yoga again a bit more recently. I did a lot of it. I had a yoga studio actually when I was about 15 years ago. We had a yoga studio, my wife and I, and we didn't practice. We didn't teach it ourselves, but we had a little business, and so obviously did a lot of it then. And I just kind of, when we sold the business, I just kind of stopped doing it, and just recently started up again, and just thought, why have I not been doing this? It just makes you feel amazing afterwards.
Yeah, it's one of the exercises that I do where afterwards you actually feel more energized. Like, it doesn't feel like it's broken you or anything. You actually feel like, like if you miss it for say a week or whatever, you always think, why am I prioritizing other exercise over this?
Yeah,
because it's a real mental positive from it as well as the physical. And like last year, I did my back in, and that was the thing that managed to get me back on the board. Was taking up yoga.
Well, I've heard someone say yoga is a lot like animal movements as well. And if you look at animals, like say you look at your dog, for example, when your dog gets up, it never just gets up unless something happens like that. But as soon as a dog gets up, it always stretches first of all. And I've heard a lot of science that's saying that you should do this first thing in the morning. You're not supposed to lie on your back, get straight out of bed, and just go. You're supposed to like stretch into your day.
Yeah, I think that's very sensible, and I think you're dead on. One of my problems with yoga though is that I get, I'm busy during the day, from getting up, onwards, unless I sort of got up super early, which, as you can imagine, guys, I can't get up early unless it's for surfing, in which case I can get up at any time.
My wife says the same to me. Why can't you get up normally unless you're surfing? You get up at 5
That's
o'clock
exactly
in the
what
morning.
my wife says every time. But so I find myself sort of having time to exercise in the evening. And then, I do yoga and then I'm relaxing after yoga and I feel like this is amazing. I'm going to go to sleep now. And like 10 minutes later, I'm up for 2 hours with the most amount of energy ever. And it's like, another time.
Don't do yoga at night, no.
So this is going to be a question which we can edit out if you like. But how often do you get to surf? And I know you mainly go to the wave at the moment, so that could be a dangerous question for you.
If you don't answer, we'll just leave that in. That's enough.
Next question, please.
No problem.
So what do you think from your years of surfing? What do you think you've had as your biggest sort of failure, as you'd say, in surfing, and what did you learn from it?
Ooh, that's a good question. That is a really good question. Well, I mean, actually, and maybe this isn't really answering your question properly, but I got really annoyed with someone who was being a total, twat. Yeah. And there's no denying they were a total twat, but sort of I got really annoyed and had a go at them. They were a big guy, so it wasn't an intimidation thing. He was bigger than me, so it's not I wasn't picking on anyone. Yeah. But it still didn't create a good mood in the water. And actually, I paddled over to him later and I said, you know what, I wasn't happy with that, but I've just caused more of an issue actually with this and I'd like to apologise. And obviously, I mean, I didn't know this was going to happen at the time, but obviously next thing, he's your best mate. And actually, if I'd approached it that way in the first place, it would have been fine. So then he was all chilled out with everyone else. So, that's never the answer, is to get annoyed at someone. And I think that's probably something that's most important. In terms of something, are you talking about in terms of something skill set now as well?
Yeah.
Got some tips. Can't think of anything.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Do you want some tips?
Yeah, let's go for that.
I see a lot of, because I really remember being an intermediate surfer, and I see a lot of people making the same mistakes that I made just really, really recently. And one of the things, and actually I was doing it even until fairly recently without realizing, not all the time, is that I think one of the biggest things, and not everyone does this, obviously, some people might do the opposite, but most intermediate surfers over paddle. They paddle too frantically, they paddle too fast, and they paddle too much for a wave. And what happens then is that they are getting up halfway down the wave, and then they're surprised why it's steep. So if you see good surfers, they look like they don't paddle almost.
Yeah.
and then they look like they're getting up before the wave's broken. You think, how can they have so much time, right? And so what I would counsel now, for example, if you're at the wave or if you're at the ocean, it doesn't matter, it's exactly the same. Or you obviously have to keep your position, so you hopefully you know where that is in terms of, you're looking at a certain point in the lineup or a certain marker, etc. So you are paddling to keep in position, but those are not paddle waves for catching the wave. They're just kind of keeping your board not from going backwards or whatever. And as the wave approaches, it's literally 4, it might not be 4, it could be 3 or it could be 6, but generally 4 or 5 hard, deep, slow strokes. Sounds a bit dodgy. And then both your hands on the deck of your board. I think it's better to have a slight angle on them, and then get up. If you miss the wave, that is fine. That is fine. Because the options then are either you miss the wave or you catch it perfectly. But what you don't do then is what a lot of average level, intermediate level surfers do, is kind of start getting up halfway down the face.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, I felt that myself with the wave the other day when I went there last week, and as soon as I positioned myself perfectly, it's on the wave. It's even like 2 paddles and you're up. But I think it works in such a way there. The wave comes the same, that you can do that. I think that I think people but not beginners, intermediates will struggle with getting that into their head in the ocean. Somewhere like the wave is brilliant. To get that dialed and practice. I think intermediate surfers in the ocean are going to struggle with that until it's one of those things. It's like muscle memory, isn't it? You've got to do it so many times that all of a sudden it's like, right, now it works. That's it.
So do you think that would apply to longboarding as well?
Well, look, I've never longboarded, so I am talking about sort of mid-length to shortboard, so I don't know. I would love to learn longboarding now that the wave is open. This is the great thing, now at my age, I was never going to start longboarding, only not because you can't, but because I knew shortboarding much more, much better. So to start something new with surfing, I wasn't really interested in sort of learning what conditions to go for, etc. But now the wave is there. I mean, I reckon you can start hanging 5 probably after someone's been doing it for years, which is weird, right? So I'd love to learn, go on the intermediate setting perhaps, or the advanced setting, and get a proper longboard and start walking up and down and trying that kind of stuff. Would be super fun.
It is super fun. It's the thing about the difference between, like, I can notice it. I know my sort of 7.6 isn't a shortboard, but it's a shortboard for what I'm used to riding, and the difference between it, like longboarding, you seem to have a lot more time. You just everything's a lot slower, and like when I'm on that 7.6, everything's a lot faster and everything's quicker. When you're on the longboard, everything's just really slow. It's just really slow and relaxed. Longboarding, it is a good fun thing to do.
Yeah, so, I wish I'd done it this summer actually, but I guess the wave was shut for quite a while and I never got around to it. But yeah, definitely next summer I'm gonna crack on and try longboarding.
So we ask some of our guests that come on. We always ask about your pre and post surf mind. Like, what's your attitude like? You said you're excited on the way. So we've given an example before of when we're going down. We was listening to kind of like hard, fast, like kind of heavy metal music almost, to super excited, driving probably too fast on the way down. And on the way back, we're
Ben Howard, Jack Johnson.
Yeah, nice and relaxed and chilled. So do you have the same thing, or is it slightly different for you?
I think it's slightly different for me because, other than the wave, and even that's an hour and a half, normally I'm driving really long distances. So the way down there, it's all about conserving as much energy as possible. Typically my trips like 3.5, 4.5 hours. So on those trips, I'm literally just not even trying to think about surfing. I'm just trying to almost be asleep but driving. Yeah. And conserving as much energy as possible, and then on the way back, then I'm sort of just feeling very relaxed and kind of de-stressed kind of mood. So that's kind of me for the longer journeys. And even when I go to the wave an hour and a half, my thing is not to amp myself up too much. I like to sort of feel more relaxed before I get there. Have my little routines, have my specific things that I eat, which is always having a few nuts and apple for apple for carbohydrate is generally better than banana, and then some nuts, and walnuts are good, almonds are good, and a bit of water, and then I'm good to go.
Well, that's that is totally different to us.
You got Leighton next. Well, I was going to say on that, you should get a pointless friend like me that just sits next to you in the car or van all the way down. Never drives, just sits next to you in the van. And he's there with the nuts and the apple and everything like that. And there's me with a can of Coke and a pasty, which is it's the complete opposite. But I think that was from. He's always exercised, and I've always just skateboarded. Like all my life, I've skateboarded and literally used to live. I saw something the other day, and there was a documentary on Danny Wainwright, who did the world's highest ollie years ago.
Oh,
He said, that was back when I was living on bongs and Haribos. That was the diet.
The diet of an athlete, yeah.
Bongs and Haribos. That's crazy. All right, a couple of little more questions then, and then we'll wrap this up. So what is your favourite surf film?
Oh, do you know what? We touched on it earlier on. It's got to be North Shore, which is not a surf film.
That's my favourite.
Yeah, it's got to be there. But in terms of real surf films, I love Performing Monkeys, which is quite an old film, and I think the reason why I liked it is that it was the first film where I saw really good surfers in British waves.
Yeah, I think that's on YouTube now, actually.
I've not seen it for years.
I'm pretty sure I saw it not long ago on YouTube, or
either
that, or it's a real dodgy bootleg copy on YouTube or something. I'm just like, but no, I'm pretty sure it's on there.
The real thing was bootleg, grainy, sort of everything's grey because it's obviously filmed in winter, but some really good waves and some really good surfing, and that just got me really, really amped because that's what we had the opportunity to surf in the UK.
Yeah, and how do you think surfing's changed in the years that you've been doing it?
God, it has changed massively, hasn't it? Well, not hasn't it? It has changed massively. Really, it used to be sort of when I first started out, and I wasn't surfing properly when I first went to Nias at the age of 19. It was more of a hippie sort of thing. A lot of people with long hair, a lot of people with dreads, and then it got really, really clean cut. What I've noticed recently is that it's become a bit more hippie again, which I quite like. I really like that. I can't do it myself, unfortunately. I'm bald, but
that's all right. You got the beard.
Just grow a really long beard, like plaid it.
Beards come off as well now. So it was ordered by the wife.
What about so if you're just saying like the UK scene, then how do you think that's like changed?
I think we're getting better. I've been lucky to travel around the world, and I mean, not loads, but different spots around the world. And I always thought that America was a bit like the UK in terms of you had some really good surfers and you had some complete rubbish ones, and that's fine, and everyone's getting on. Australia, they're all good. There is no one bad in Australia. You're not allowed to surf in Australia if you're bad. Hawaii is really interesting because there was loads of people that couldn't surf, that couldn't surf well, but they're in the water. Hawaiians themselves, like native Hawaiians, they just love the water, and I thought that was amazing. And there was like zero ego on it. It was like they were there because they loved being in the ocean. They never were bothered about progressing. They just were on a battered up longboard in the ocean, surfed really badly, but just loving it. And I thought that was amazing.
I heard something. Andrew Cotty said something about that on an interview, and he said, if you can ride a wave straight, you can ride a big wave. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I'm sure it's him on an interview saying if you can ride a wave straight, you can ride a big wave. And then you look at something like that on like Nazare, and you're like, nah.
You also need balls of steel.
Yeah, well, there's probably that as well.
Definitely. But in terms of the UK, I think what I was getting to was that we're getting better. I think we're increasing our knowledge. So the guys that were already fairly good are not fairly good, like, pros or semi-pros are getting really good. And then our young guys that are good are amazing. And the women in the sport and girls in the sport has increased massively, which is fantastic. So that's the really big thing that I see here, and I think that's really fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of proud to be a UK surfer.
Yeah, it's everybody in the UK. Like I read out before, we had an email of someone saying about lineups around the world, like you were just saying. Like they said, Australia, great, really competitive. New Zealand's a bit more chilled but serious, and like the UK is just brutal. It's always been brutal in the lineup because you just take the piss out of each other all the time, and that's
brutal in a good way.
It's
like
in a
banter.
nice way. It's banter in that, like I sometimes you're in a lineup and people aren't talking to each other, but we're normally the idiots that are like trying to have a laugh and get people talking and stuff like that. It's good fun.
Yeah,
it's good. That's good.
Well, we know you've got an early morning tomorrow to go to the wave again. So we really appreciate you coming on. And, again. No, it doesn't go that much.
I've never seen. Has your wife not got your Instagram account or something? Because she must look at that and go.
We let's not even. That's a whole new show.
Do you have to? You have to do that. No, they're all from the same time, love. I just got the photos from that one time, and I spread them out so people think I'm going all the time.
Yeah, maybe getting rid of the beard.
Can you please shut up? I've already said that.
So if you could just let everybody know where they can find you on your social media,
online,
or online, and you said you're on YouTube as well. That'd be great.
Yeah, so I'm doing everything now on Instagram. I'm too lazy to do YouTube, so that stopped years ago. But everything's on at Zero Ego Board Reviews. So zero as in ZERO, and you type that in and then I'll pop up. And it's basically just reviews and tips for average level surfers. So if you're a pro, I'm sure you're not listening to this anyway, but don't follow me. You're not going to get anything.
Don't follow you. You're not doing that, right?
Yeah. No. If you're sort of anywhere like a normal person, then just check it out.
I think that's why we wanted to do this podcast. As we say, we've said before, we're that little bit further away. If we were closer, we'd probably be surfing all the time and do nothing. We've both got that mindset quite well, I think. But because we're that little bit further away, we wanted to start the podcast, and it's that thing of the average people. There was nothing out there for the average surfer, the average person who's like, you're doing the board reviews. That's aimed at the average surfers and the normal level people out there. But there's all podcasts and everything I've listened to before they're always like pro surfers talking. And as much as it's nice to hear, I don't think the average person can relate to that very much.
No, especially in the UK as well.
No. So I think, that's it's a really good thing that you're doing, and
we look forward to your future posts, and I hope you have a good day tomorrow.
Well, thanks, guys. It's been a real pleasure to speak to you guys, and thank you so much for doing these, because I really enjoy listening to them, and I'll be listening to them again when I'm driving down tomorrow.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for that, Sasha. What a great guy.
What a dude.
Yeah.
He was bloody lovely, wasn't he?
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
I didn't know what I was expecting from him, because I've watched him a lot on Instagram, and I don't know what I was actually expecting from him, but he was much better than I imagined he was going to be.
Yeah, he was. Well, he's got zero ego.
He actually has got zero ego. He actually has.
Genuinely lovely guy. Love the bit about tips and helping people, and he's all about that, which is just what is perfect for us.
And I mean, after we finished recording, he even said to us, if you want any tips or anything, just get in contact, and that's just brilliant. You know,
because I'm going to be texting him every day now. Well, what about this?
The amount of people after podcasts that are just going to start blocking you because it's like you'll be like that. Hannah, can I have my insurance? And Sasha, how do I do this? And anyway,
I enjoyed that one. It was a good one. He was a lovely bloke to talk to. Hopefully, we get a chance to meet him one day and speak to him in person.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. No doubt we'll bump into him at the Wave. Not that he's ever there, but...
No, I don't think he's ever been.
No, I don't think he's ever been to the Wave. Well, Sasha's wife, he's never been to the Wave. I've never seen a post of him there or anything.
Someone who looks just like him.
Yeah. Speaking of Waves, we're going to be at Newquay.
Oh, yes, the longboard competition.
Yeah, Nationals.
Yeah.
On the, what's the date? The 9th, 10th, 11th?
The 10th and 11th of October.
Yeah.
In Newquay. There is the longboard competition. If you're heading down, keep an eye out for us. Come up and have a chat. There's going to be two idiots walking around with microphones, I presume.
Yeah, we'll have the mics going recording, and if you see us there, come and have a chat to us.
Maybe we should post a picture of what we look like on Instagram. So if people see us there, they can come up and talk to us. Because at the moment, there's just like pictures of you when you're 20 with a massive emoji over your penis.
Yeah, I still look exactly the same. Just a little bit wider.
You now look like the guy who ate that kid.
Amazing.
So if you see us,
but we've both got faces for radio, so
yeah.
So if we'll post a picture when we're down there. So if you see us, come and talk to us. I'll be the guy hopefully in the UK Surf Show East London Press T-shirt.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, should we start talking about that so people know what you're on about?
So a friend of mine moved to the Big Smoke a few years ago, and I miss him terribly. Craig, come back. But he started up a company called East London Press, and they make T-shirts, clothing, beanies, all sorts of things. He sent me a message the other day saying, "Hey, dude, meant to send you this a while ago. What do you think?" And it's a collab T-shirt between us and East London Press. We are giving one away in a competition that we're running at the moment. But on a side note, this T-shirt, we are going to do a limited run of them at some point. So let us know if you are interested. Either head across to our Instagram and let us know. We did a post about it the other day. Or let us know via email. Get in contact and let us know what you think.
Right, competition time.
Competition. Mega competition.
Competition time.
I'm so leaving that in. Right, so shall I read out the companies, who they are, and then you can say what everyone's getting?
Yeah, let's give a shout out to the companies because we really appreciate their support.
Yeah, it's literally, guys, this is an amazing prize fund. I worked it out roughly, and it was over 350 quid worth of prizes, and I think more has been added since I worked that up.
I was going to say it's gone up, hasn't it, since then?
Yeah, so it's over £350 worth of prizes. Companies who have donated prizes are West Coast Surf Wax, the Whittling Woodpecker, Ocean Lube, N&M Drotography, Reapered Lifestyle Apparel, Onion Magazine, Ocean Corduroy, KB Photo Vid, Outdoor Camera Club, Not Just a Print, North Core, Surf Trumps, East London Press, White Wood Clothing, 6 Foot and Clean, Kukena, Suffolk Surfers, and who started it all off? Green Surf Wax.
Wow. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of support. That's great.
Yeah.
Right, and all together, those people are donating 4 bars of surf wax, a wood carving of a wave, surf magazine, anti-chafing lube, 2 surfing prints, a beanie, 4 T-shirts, surf playing cards, soap and shampoo bars, stickers, calligraphy print of word of your choice, bamboo flask and wax comb, a mug, and leash string. So
anything else?
No, that's it. That's loads, isn't it?
Yeah.
How are we going to afford for the postage?
I'm probably going to have to like drive it there myself to you.
Yeah, it might be
because
better.
yeah. Maybe
cheaper.
What was the Lee Evans one? If I had my moped, it'd be all right. So yeah, we've got an amazing prize fund there. So to enter, we better tell you how to do that, haven't we, as well?
Yeah.
You've got until the end of September 2020, so to the 30th of September 2020, and we want your surfing stories.
Yeah, so surfing stories that's happened on a surf trip, so you don't actually have to be in the water surfing, just anything at all. It has to be funny, inspirational, whatever it is, as long as it's on a surf trip, just so there's some kind of link. That'd be great. Ones we've had already are brilliant. There are a couple of front runners, aren't there, already?
Yeah, there's in my mind, there's one front runner that's stood out to me above the rest, but there has been a couple that is tied up between so far. Is a lot of good stories, more than I thought we were going to get as well.
I know. Yeah, you've given us some reading. That's for sure. It's not light reading; it's heavy reading.
Yeah, we started a podcast for fun, not work. We've just made more work for ourselves.
So get online. Send them in either to our email address, which is
the uksurfshow@gmail.com,
or get in contact via social media, which Instagram is at the UK Surf Show.
Yeah, our Facebook at the UK Surf Show, and on Twitter as well. Send your stories in however you want. One person sent a story in and sent it to every single one at the same time. So
make sure he wins.
Yeah, that was a young lady as well. I think that was. Yeah, we've had them. We've also had stories from around the world.
I know,
which
amazing.
Which
I hope you're not going to drive there.
I know. I'll have to post it, won't I? It is miles away. So good luck to everybody, and get
the stories in.
Yeah. So
that's it.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Until next time.
Hope you enjoyed today's show. Thanks again to Sasha for coming on. Really cool guy. Really
knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be using his knowledge in the future for when we progress.
Yeah. Yeah. And right, well, goodbye.
Cheers.